Emory Hunt Thazar, the Playbook Hero football game plan at the 2022 East-West Shrine Bowl in Las Vegas, Nevada. Still feels weird saying that after being in St. Pete for so long, but I'm here with Skylar Thompson, the outstanding quarterback from Kansas City. I appreciate you taking time, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Big fan of your game, man. I thought last season, the 2020 season, you're going to come out. I was like, this is a guy that no one's talking about that can ball. I love his game. You come back. I know the injury played a lot into that, but why did you come back, and what did you feel like you still had left to prove out there on the field?
Yeah, well, I felt like before I got hurt in 2020 that I was really starting to showcase that I could play at the NFL level. I worked really hard in that previous offseason of making throws in the pocket, keep my feet underneath me, getting in my third and fourth reads, just really growing in that part of the passing game, and really felt like it was showcasing. My work was paying off, and then I got hurt. So, everything kind of got put on hold there for a little bit, and just I had some time to, think about what had happened and process everything, and I took the time to do that. But I still felt like there was just so much left in the tank, and areas that I could still continue to get better at and provide for Kansas State. And ultimately, I wanted to go out on a high note. I'm a competitive kid and I'm a competitor, and I didn't want to end my career at K-State like that. So I was excited to have the opportunity to come back for another year. I had some great teammates that made the same decision as I did to use that COVID year. So it was a great situation. It was a lot of fun, and was able to finish this year on a high note versus LSU in our bowl game.
Hey, you guys, as a former University of Louisiana Raging Cajun, this is exciting for me to say. You guys beat the brakes off LSU, so I love that you guys did that. But in all seriousness, Skylar, watching you play, and the reason why I enjoy doing so, because I'm constantly banging the drum for saying that not everyone has to play the position the same way. And when I was studying your tape in 2019, going into 2020, I'm like, dude moves the football. Moves the chains. He's a chain mover. By any means necessary. They find first downs. They find the end zone. And your style, kind of lends to that. Do you feel as though you can play freely like that? And it shows people that may be skeptical that, hey, I don't have to be 1, 2, 3, get the ball out. I can be 1, 2, 3, okay, nobody's open. Let me find a first down or break contain. How do you feel about your style of play as it pertains to how people think the quarterback should be played?
Yes, yeah, that's a great question. I think that there's a lot of value, and obviously standing in the pocket and going through progressions, going through your reads. But there's a lot of good football players out there, especially on the defensive side and defensive line guys that weigh 300 pounds running just as fast as me nowadays. So having the ability when things break down to be able to use your legs and make plays. The overall mission of every offense is to get first downs and move the chains. And especially in our offense at K-State, that was our modem that we lived off of. And day one install, we talk about moving the chains, taking care of the football, doing those types of things. You do those things, you're going to put yourself in position to win. And so that was my values in playing the position, and just understanding that I can make plays with my arm, I can make plays with my legs, whatever the case may be, whatever the defense is giving me, I'm going to do it and get a first down and make a play. So there's no set way of this is how you play quarterback. Everybody's different. Everybody has different playing styles, different strengths, different weaknesses. It's just being able to really focus in on what you're really good at, what your strengths are, and making the most out of that.
And it's fascinating because, when you watch someone have success, why would you want to change how that person is having success? And the fact that you played a lot of games at K-State kind of gives you a little bit more perspective. What would you say is the biggest thing you learned from the time you got in as a freshman to where you are now?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing that I've learned is patience. And that is probably, people hear me say that, I'm like, what are you talking about? You started 40 games, and what are you talking about patience? But I've faced injuries. There's been times where I've not been able to be out there with my team, and it has killed me, But in the process of recovering from an injury, it takes patience. It takes a great perspective of understanding the situation that you're in and finding ways to get better in every situation possible. And through those times of being injured and doing rehab, like I was really forced to be patient with the process. There was days where I wasn't seeing a lot of progress or I wasn't feeling a lot of progress, but I had to be patient and keep trusting what I was doing, trusting trainers, trusting people around me, and then trusting myself. That example I'm using my injuries, but there's so many times throughout my career where things just weren't going the way that I was planning them to go, and that is completely fine. It's part of the process, but understanding how to be patient in those times, trust your work, trust what you're doing, and doing that, the results will come. It just may not be when you want them to. You never know when that time may come. You never know when your time's going to come. So just being prepared for everything and being patient through the process.
Help me settle a debate, because this is a serious question. Like, this is like top secret critical stuff, right? Is people want to know this. From your perspective as a quarterback, leader of the football team, a guy that has to know everything, who's worse? The running back that misses his assignment on blitz pickup, or the receiver that comes back to the huddle saying, I was open? Which one of those guys are worse? And why is the receiver?
Receiver. Receiver. There's not a worse feeling than a receiver being wide open and you miss it. It's something that haunts every quarterback, but especially, there's times where that has happened to me firsthand, but there's also times where I've had really good teammates that don't say anything but understand, and I see it myself on film and I'm like, gosh, like that was a touchdown, but there's also just in the flow of game plans and like what we're anticipating throughout the week. Like, it's not always, the defense is game planning well, like they have a plan too, so we have a progression, we have a defensive recognition, and off those things determine what I'm going to do. And sometimes you're wrong, and that's just part of playing our position. But you definitely want to be right more times than wrong. But it's part of it, though.
No, I'm glad you brought that up, because the serious question I was going to ask is this. Break this statement down for me, because this is something I find myself saying to folks that always want to critique the quarterback position. Just because you're in a route doesn't mean you're in a progression. What does that mean to you?
So you said just because you're not in a route.
Just because you are in a route.
Yes. So, yes, 100%. There's times almost in every play that there's going to be a guy that most likely isn't getting the football. But him doing his job 100 miles an hour, giving full effort, is going to make somebody else open. And there's times where that they're not part of the progression. Sometimes that's the guy that's open, and those are a little easier to live with, because it's like, that's not the way I was taught, that's not the way I was coached, it just missed, or the defense bust, like there's just so many different factors that go into that type of stuff. But there's oftentimes, there's a lot of times there's some type of a clear out route, especially with like a flood concept or anything like that. There's going to be something clearing everything out to help the read clear. So it's really important that even though they might not be in the progression, that they understand that they're still part of it. Like I'd say that would be the way that I would word that. Like even though you're not probably going to get the ball here, you're still part of the play. Maybe not part of the progression, but you're part of the play. So just having that mindset, it's hard for somebody that doesn't know football to understand that, and to a common fan of seeing somebody running wide open. But there's a lot that goes into it, for sure.
That's why I wanted to get you to say that, because sometimes people just don't understand. Like, not everything is designed for. Yeah, the quarterback may be looking toward that direction, but it's probably not his progression to go that way. But to end on this note, K-State is a special place. How special of a program is Kansas State? Because I feel like you guys are, one of those programs that people just don't talk enough about.
Yeah, well, it's a consistent program, and it's been a consistent program for a very long time. And I think, it's an unbelievable college town, unbelievable university, and we pride ourselves on family. That's the slogan of K-State. And, when I was getting recruited going to K-State, and they're saying that I'm a very family-oriented person, it's very important to me. And that was a big reason why I went to K-State. It was like, they preach family, they treat each other like family, I think this is a good fit for me. But I didn't realize, it wasn't just something they put up in the football complex. That says family. Like, no, they really meant it. And the people out there, students, coaches, fans, just people in the community, everybody is so nice, so involved. Everybody loves K-State football, and that's what makes K-State what it is. And the football background and the transition of the Coach Snyder era and what he brought to the university, it sparked our entire university to where, our entire athletics program is very solid and does really well. So on a consistent basis. I mean, I would like to say that any team knows whenever they play K-State, you're going to play a team that's very well coached, disciplined, plays hard, and has fun. And that's something that I've taken away from being at K-State for 6 years, and the values and lessons that program and university has taught me will carry with me for the rest of my life.
Listen, man, it's been a pleasure to get to know you for a little bit. I'm a big fan of your game and what you bring to the table. I can't wait to get to see you out there on the field this week and watch you progress moving forward, man. Thank you again for taking time.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.